Hi, I'm Greg McIntyre with the Elder Law Report, and we're going to talk about a very important topic today. 4 signs it might be time to consider a trust. 4 signs that you need to look for that might indicate you need a trust. Because people often don't know if they need a trust or will, or what kind of estate planning documents and mix and plan that they need. Well, we're going to give you some insight today on why you might need a trust and why you might not need a trust. So, the first sign that you might need a trust is that you own more than one piece of real estate. In addition, maybe you have substantial retirement assets. Let's talk about that. How does wealth and property accumulation become a sign that you might need a trust?
Well, number one, the more property, the more wealth that you have, the more you have to lose. And if you allow your assets to pass through the probate process, then they are subject to way more risk than if you kept them out of that process. So, that's number one. And that's something that I like to, remind people of, that no matter what kind of trust you get, you avoid probate. Okay. The other thing is, well, the more property and the more wealth you have, again, the more you have to lose during your life, not just at your passing. So, if you are an individual over age 65, you have a 70% chance of needing some type of long-term care in the future, which is a huge risk to your assets, because long-term care can cost anywhere from $10,000, $15,000 a month. It can be hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So that's something that you should certainly consider. Even if you're able to get Medicaid, qualify for Medicaid, that does not mean that your assets won't be subject to risk. So a trust can be a very good tool to use to protect those assets from probate, from the nursing home, and from any type of benefit program like Medicaid that may cover your long-term care. Can also help you qualify for much needed benefits to qualify and pay for that long-term care. So
let me ask this, Brenton. What about liability protection for someone with, say, more than one piece of property or some substantial retirement assets? Does a trust offer liability protection?
It does. It does. And again, there's multiple ways to set up a trust. But if you're worried about liability protection, if you're worried about getting sued and losing, this property that you worked hard all your life, maybe some other type of cash assets or liquid assets, a trust can be a great shield to protect you from personal liability. Now, that doesn't mean someone
what
can't
about
sue.
tax protection? What about tax protection? Or
Oh man,
maximizing my tax benefits.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm surprised you brought it up and I didn't bring it up. I thought I was the tax guy. Yeah, so tax protection, we have something that's looming over our heads that a lot of people don't know, because we're in a little bit of a grace period right now, but the death tax is coming back. Okay, that's a drum I've been beating for a while, letting everybody know that, hey, you might not have to worry about estate and inheritance tax right now, but that's coming back. And trust can be a great tool to prevent your estate from being depleted by 40, 50%, right? Percent tax rate. Okay, sure. So it can significantly deplete your estate if your estate is subject to that tax rate, and a trust can help you totally avoid that.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Brenton. The second sign that you might be time to consider a trust, you're having some health problems and you're aging. You're getting up in years. You're past retirement age, or you're at retirement age or older, and starting to experience some health problems, or might be concerned that they're on the horizon.
Right.
Why, if you're aging and the older you get, is that an indicator? And why, coupled with health problems, is that a real arrow that should point you to consider a trust to pass your assets and protect them?
Well, as I mentioned before, care is a reality for a lot of people, the majority of people. So that's a big deal. It costs a lot. Medical bills in general can totally deplete an estate after someone's passed away, especially if that estate is going through the probate process. So if you want to prevent the inevitable medical bills that you will incur in the future from depleting your estate, then a trust is a great tool to do that sort of thing. So if you know that you have health problems, if you know that you're getting up there in age, and so you're more likely to have health problems, including the need for long-term care, then a trust is not only going to help you qualify, but help you, protect, shield assets from being taken by these creditors that you can incur. And when I say creditors, I mean these medical creditors like the nursing home, hospital bills, things like that, and help preserve these assets for the next generation.
Agreed. Excellent answer. Thank you so much. And winner is very, very good job. Very good job. So number 3, signs that it's time to consider a trust. You have no long-term care insurance.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't have long-term care insurance. Some people don't even know what it is. And that's not your fault, because no one's out there telling you that these things exist. So long-term care insurance is exactly what it sounds like. It's insurance to cover the cost of long-term care if you ever go into long-term care. Now, there's different insurance policies. There's different ways that you can qualify. You might not qualify if you have a pre-existing condition or over a certain age. So for that reason, a lot of people don't have it. Also, you might not be able to afford the premiums even if you do qualify. So that being said, if you don't have long-term care insurance to cover the cost of your long-term care, you have to have an alternative plan to protect your assets and pay for long-term care. And a trust is just such a good tool to do both of those things, as we've mentioned before.
And we draft some particular trusts that are made just for that, to shield assets from a creditor recovery, as well as to make them not accountable assets should you have to apply for, say, a Medicaid benefit to pay for long-term care in the future.
That's right.
We draft a couple of trusts that are just perfect for that. And number 4 signs that you might need to consider a trust are that there's a blended family.
Right.
And so what if there's a blended family?
Yeah, so this is a big deal. A blended family means that maybe 2 families came together after, wife and husband have both had kids, maybe even grandkids, and they come together and get married later on in life. And so there's this mixture of these families. It's, sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't. But because of that lack of family history, you might have tensions after someone's passed away. So, you don't want your estate to get tied up for years in some type of will challenge and some type of probate litigation. So a trust can solve that problem just easily, very simply, just like that. It can allow the spouses to dictate what happens to their share of their assets that they've already built up over their lives, maybe even inherited from their spouses. If their spouses passed away, maybe they've inherited it from their family members, things like that. Things that were always supposed to go to their children, you can make sure that still happens, so that when one of them passes away, it isn't just a battle royale for the assets that are up for grabs. So that's a very important reason why you might want to consider a trust, to just take that burden off your family.
So thank you so much, Brenton, for explaining the 4 signs it's time to consider a trust. To recap, if you own more than one piece of real estate or have substantial retirement assets, if you have aging or health problems, if you need long-term care, if you don't have long-term care insurance, or if you have a blended family. Thank you for tuning in the Elder Law Report, and we'll see you next week.